Because I always tell people this. Whenever people are like, you have a podcast and a YouTube? I'm like, yeah. Go to YouTube if you want like fluffy bunny rabbit me, and come to my podcast if you want to just hear me talk whatever shit's on my mind. I don't give a fuck.
There's the soundbite.
Welcome to Too Much.
Our podcast about, well, whatever.
From issues of the world to topics of lesser grandeur. We've got you covered with a little bit too much to say about everything.
So let's start the show.
Welcome to the future. My name is Michael.
And new year, new me, but you can still call me Cody.
What? So Cody, what was your not summer. What was your Christmas holiday like?
Christmas was good. I went to see my family, just my immediate family, and they actually came and picked me up, so I didn't have to do the whole like traveling and with COVID sickos and all that stuff. So just hung out with them. And did the whole Christmas thing, which was super nice, super fun. I haven't seen them since the beginning of the year.
Really?
Yeah, I saw them in like April.
Didn't you see them again after that?
Did I?
Where? Because you weren't in the city for like Family Day or something.
Family Day's in February.
Sorry, the other one, Canada Day.
Did I go see them in the summer?
I believe you did.
Anyways.
But yeah, for my holiday, I actually took a plane. Whoopee! So exciting. I went to see my mom and my sisters. I haven't seen them for around 5 years. I know it sounds crazy.
So long.
Because they're just across the border, but just life happened, things happen, and schedules and people are busy. And it was amazing to see my family. It was a surprise to most of them. I coordinated with one of my sisters. Shout out to Princess. When I got there, she told my mom, hey, I need you to get up and like drive me to run some errands. And my mom was like, she's a first responder, so she works at the hospital, and she was like, I'm exhausted from my shift and I just need to rest. But being a great mom, she took my sister out. And then my sister was like halfway through them like driving wherever. She's like, oh, I need to go pick up a friend at the airport. It won't take long. I just need to be there for like this time specifically. And my mom was like pissed at that point. She's like, who is this friend and why am I being dragged out of my bed to go run errands and then bamboozled into picking up some stranger from the airport? Can they not take an Uber?
Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
It was a whole thing. But she went because she's a nice lady, and my sister picked me up. And I put all my stuff in the car. She still didn't realize it was me. I mean, I had on a ton of clothes. I had on like coats and hoodies and sweaters. Like I just had on a bunch of clothes, and my face was covered. I had on a beanie or a tam or whatever you guys call it. People call it different things. What do Canadians call it?
I've never heard anyone call it a tam.
We call it a tam in Jamaica.
What are you talking about? What is it? Just a hat?
No, but you call it a hat.
This type of hat that you're wearing now?
Yeah, beanie. You know what a beanie is, right?
I would call it beanie like the longer ones, the floppy ones.
The floppy ones you call a beanie?
Yeah, or a toque.
Toque? Okay, Canadians call it a toque.
Some of them. It's a French word.
Okay. So I had that on. I had the face shield on. I had multiple masks on. And it was just like a lot of stuff. Even when I like opened the car door, the driver, sorry, not the driver's side, but the passenger side at the front, I was like, hey mom, and she was still looking like, wait, what is this? And it's like 5 seconds, he's like, oh my god. She was so shocked. But it was a beautiful reunion. Immediately she just started calling my dad, and she's like, you cannot believe what your kids just did. Like, they just surprised me, and she's so happy. She's like, this is the best Christmas present ever. I don't need anything else. I was like, cute. This is so nice. I was so happy to be there. I love my mom so much, and I missed all of them so much. So that was my Christmas holiday.
That's so fun.
It was. It was a great time. So what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? I started watching this show, Nurse Jackie. Mm-hmm. It's like old show. I think it ended like at least 5 years ago. So there's like 5 or 6 seasons, which I love when I can find a show that already has like a lot of seasons under the belt because I like to binge.
I love to binge too.
I'm already on season 3 because it's like short. It's only a half-hour show, kind of like a comedy, I guess. But it's about this nurse named Jackie, obviously, and she's addicted to pills, like painkillers.
Oh, we love all white people.
Yeah,
drug.
And she just like does anything to get her hands on these pills, which obviously
Percocet.
she works in a hospital, so she can get some from that.
Yeah.
But she can't like just steal like crazy, or they'll be onto her. But she has a husband and kids at home, and she takes off her wedding ring every day when she before she gets to work. No one at work knows that she has a husband.
Why is she hiding that though?
I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. But nobody knows that she has kids. They just think she's like 40-year-old single Jackie.
Oh, so she's a middle-aged woman.
Yeah, she's a middle-aged woman. She's dating the pharmacist.
Okay, now she's a hoe.
Who gives her some pills sometimes.
A crack hoe.
But she actually really likes him.
So she has a whole double life.
Yeah,
Come
essentially.
on, Nurse Jackie.
Anyways, now I'm on season 3, so her life has like started to implode a little bit. But yeah, I love it. Just about her like life at the hospital and, you know, trying to get drugs. I mean, I'm probably not describing it very well because you probably think it's like a show where she's like running around trying to get high.
I'm just imagining this crackhead nurse like fidgeting, putting in needles in the IV.
She's like fully functioning, like she's the best nurse at her hospital. Like she's the top one there. She's the supervisor. No one can tell she's high. She's just like a fully functioning drug addict.
Oh.
But she just like
addict.
You know, like if she like there's scenes where she's like walking down the street and like somebody will drop a pill.
And she'll take it up?
Yeah. Like she won't tell them. She's like, oh, got one.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So there's always that kind of thing where she's like sees some unattended pills, then it just goes in her pocket.
She is crazy.
Yeah, there's one scene where she's like walking down the street and this woman comes up to her and she's like, oh, my husband's having a seizure. You're wearing scrubs, so like hopefully you can help. She goes and helps, and then she sees some like oxy in the guy's pocket. Like a lot of oxy, like a baggie full of it.
Oh, so he must be a drug dealer.
Yeah, and then so she tells his wife to go wait outside for the like the first responders to get there. And then when the wife is outside, she starts checking all of the pockets, and she finds more. Of course, he's having a seizure, so he can't do anything to stop her. And then a few days later, he comes and visits her at the hospital. He's like, oh, I heard some nurse named Jackie saved my life the other day. And then he finds her and then like throws her up against the wall and is like, you stole $13,000 of drugs from me, blah, blah, blah.
$13,000 worth. Oh my
And
goodness.
then one of her fellow nurses like attacks him, tackles him like a linebacker. And then so she escapes him that day. But then he comes and visits her again later on. So I don't know if she's going to get away with it. But he told her apparently that he has the drugs, not because he's a dealer, but because he helps addicts like recover. He thinks AA or whatever, Narcotics Anonymous, doesn't work. He's like, people have to hit rock bottom. So essentially he like, I guess, gets them to overdose. Like he forces
that's a terrible idea.
Because he forces them into their rock bottom so that he can help them. If you give them
too much and they OD, they could just die.
Well, I mean, he's obviously experienced in it, so I guess he knows what to give them. And he's obviously got clean stuff.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Did you get a chance to watch that show I told you about?
Yes, Work in Progress.
Work in Progress. You guys should go check it out. I'm not being sponsored. I wish I was, but I love that show. What do you think of it?
It's so funny. There was multiple episodes where I had to just pause it so that I could laugh.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to miss anything, so I just paused it and just cried laughing. I mean, I also watched it at 2 o'clock in the morning, and everything's funnier when you're just a little bit tired. But in those witching hours, I was watching it, and I was like, this show is great.
She is like a, what do you call her?
A queer dyke.
Queer dyke.
She says she's not a lesbian because she's dating a guy at the moment.
Right. No, she's like a middle-aged woman.
Yes.
In her 40s, she's dating a transsexual, well, a trans man. I don't think he's had the bottom surgery yet. But he's much younger than her. He's like in his early 20s, 22, I think he said in the show.
I think so.
And she is like 40 something, and he is a beautiful specimen of a man, and she is a looker in her own right. I'm calling a spade a spade. She has really bad self-esteem. She dresses like Arthur from the cartoon. She has
a lot of mental health problems.
A lot of problems, man. Like, she killed her therapist. She has this weird obsession with almonds.
She didn't kill the therapist.
Like, I'm trying to sell the show.
The therapist died in like the first 5 minutes of the show.
Because she told the therapist, if I don't find happiness in 180 days, I'm killing myself. And the therapist just died. I'm like, you kill the therapist with your crazy ass shenanigans. Like, this is weird. Who tells someone, if I don't find happiness in 180 days, I'm just going to off myself?
It's your therapist. Who else are you going to tell?
I feel like I want to be a therapist, but I feel like I would make a questionable one.
Yeah, you definitely would. Don't do that.
I give good advice, but I feel like at some point I'm going to look at you and give you some real hard...
Therapy's not about giving someone advice, though.
I know, but
so
I'm
you
just
wouldn't
saying...
be good at any of it.
I haven't gotten training for that yet. I'm pretty sure if I did the training, they would, like, get rid of those my thoughts of it. But anyways, me as the person I am today, if she said that to me, I'd be like... If you were really serious about killing yourself, you wouldn't even tell me, bitch. You'd go do it.
No, they have to tell their therapist. That's the point.
I just think she wasn't serious about any of it. Because in the end, she was guilt-tripping her new boyfriend into staying with her. Like, I'm on my last almond. And the almond is a recurring theme in the show. You'd have to get into it to know what it is. But he's like, I'm on my last almond and you can't leave me. If you leave me... I'm gonna die. This is it for me. There's no one in my life, like as a partner, that could guilt trip me to staying by saying they're gonna kill themselves.
Well,
What? What do you want to say?
Been there, got the T-shirt.
But someone did that to you.
But anyways, I don't think she was. Yeah, she was guilt tripping her, but it was just that she wanted to find some sort of happiness,
but you see,
before her days that she gave herself, that she allotted herself right now.
And what's funny to me is that she found happiness so earlier on,
but kept counting
anyway. So it's like, you really didn't need happiness. You were comfortable in that space of despair. You wanted that whole big shablam at the end of it where you run out of almonds and you have to kill yourself. She didn't want happiness. She wanted the drama. Because the moment she fell in love with that guy and they were having some weird ass sex, like their sex was weird, ridiculous.
Why was it weird?
People were going to the emergency room afterwards. It was weird
because they were having sex with the lights off. There was nothing else weird about it. And that's not even weird. Lots of people have sex with the lights off.
Yeah, but not to the point where you're like getting a black eye and a broken arm. Her arm was broken.
It's a comedy show.
I'm just saying, what kind of positions are you guys doing? But the moment you fell in love and you were so happy, you should have just tossed all the almonds and said, this is my happiness and I'm going to ride this wave until it takes me someplace else. I don't even care where.
Yeah, well, she didn't have a therapist at the time to tell her that.
I mean, she talked to the photo of the therapist.
Yeah, but it doesn't really talk back.
Another thing she did, she took a photo of the therapist, like, not of the real person, but at the funeral, there was a photo that they blew up and they had it there, and she just took a photo of it, and she would talk to that photo as if it were the therapist still. So, she got some problems, guys.
Yeah, she had lots of problems.
But yeah, good show. Go check it out. I watched it on Crave. It's probably on Showtime or something. I don't really remember what I've been watching over the holiday season, to be honest.
You watched Pose.
Yes. I forgot. Not because it wasn't good, just because there was just like a lot going on this holiday. I used to watch Pose, and I started season 2, but then for some reason I couldn't finish it, and I never got a chance to watch it, and it's been like a year since. So I got to finish the second season, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really good show. Billy Porter, great actor. A lot of people are not happy that his character ended up being in a relationship with a much younger character. So that was a thing. But overall, good show. Love the message of it. But what I've been watching since last night, because it just, well, I don't know when this is going to be aired. This episode's probably going to be aired in a few days. But The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, yeah, I heard
on
that.
Netflix.
The new season came out.
Got released
the last season.
This is the last season. Yeah. They're being canceled after this. Screw you, Netflix, for that.
CW, actually.
Netflix could buy them, though, but I guess it's not
they
profitable.
Should.
So I don't know why they're not doing it.
It seems like it's popular on Netflix, so Netflix should buy it.
There was a whole petition online. I signed the petition, but it's going nowhere. So, at this point, what are these petitions doing? I've signed Breonna Taylor's petition. I've signed Ahmaud Arbery's. I've signed George Floyd's. All of these people, and I don't. For this show that I like, I don't see a lot of things happening, guys. But hey, that's life.
I started watching Bridgerton.
I oh. I
don't get it. I'm not into it.
Love that show.
Because you love a period piece.
I do.
I'm like, it's not doing anything for me.
Anyways, for those of you who like that old-timey stuff, Bridgerton is a show that is set in the, I think it's a 1800s. Yeah, but the time frame that they're going for is around 1802 or something like that, early 1800s. And this is a fairy tale. Well, I wouldn't call it a fairy tale, but it's a reimagination of what London would have been like had London not gone to the route of slavery. So this is, well, slavery started around 1600s, but anyways, try to follow this train of thought. This is a Shonda Rhimes production. They said that the King of England, as a white man, fell in love and married a black woman, and she became queen. And he became ill. It seems he has Alzheimer's. He's not dead, so she's really the person running the show. And because of his love for this black woman, and them realizing that there's black people are the same as them, black people got elevated into society, and black people were given land and titles and opportunities and all of this type of stuff because the king fell in love with a black woman, and that's what prompted all of this. So I was like, it's like a reimagination of what could have been or history, in a sense, coupled with like drama, sex, and all type of stuff.
It's boring.
I liked it, and I love that they had a black male lead. They're pushing for interracial relations for sure. There is a gay character that is married to a woman, and there's some type of an arrangement going on. So they're like trying to hit all the little buttons for modern TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really trying to do that. Everyone in the show is just beautiful, though.
Yeah,
and
not doing it for me.
not all like traditional beauties. Like a lot of them are odd beauties.
Good.
Like even the main girl, I don't find her to be like Keira Knightley beautiful. I find her to just.
Keira Knightley's not beautiful.
Wait, what do you mean? Who do
she is to you, I guess.
Wait,
the main white girl or the main black girl?
The main white girl. I'm trying to. Am I misremembering Keira Knightley?
The girl from Pirates of the Caribbean.
She's beautiful. She is a standard European beauty. She has the nose, the cheekbones, the brows, standard European beauty.
So basic, nothing really gorgeous about her.
Well,
just a plain old face that you can slap some makeup on and walk down a runway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is a black girl in there that is considered a beautiful girl too.
She is beautiful.
She is beautiful. I love her features.
And what are you talking about considered?
No, for the show.
Yes.
I love her. She is a mixed girl, beautiful hair, big afro, beautiful full lips, cute, just pretty. And the main girl, she has that pretty but not very pretty, just like
like Keira Knightley.
I feel like Keira is a little cuter than her.
All right.
But yeah, I like the show. Long story short, why don't you like it? Boring?
I just think it's boring. I mean, the first few episodes I wasn't paying as much attention. I put it on in the background while I was working, because I was like, everybody's talking about this show. Let me see what all the fuss is about.
I watched the entire season
because I do like a soapy drama, relationship drama, and stuff like that. But it's just not giving that to me. And I hate period pieces, but I wanted to overlook that.
You know what it could be? It could be a little bit more grimy. It was a little bit fairy tale-y, like you barely saw any death, but what you did see was a whole lot of sex scenes,
but not raunchy sex scenes.
I mean,
It's just like it's implied people have sex.
no,
And
it's
then
not implied.
Oh, what I saw it was like, you see the early stages of kissing, and then it cuts to them like naked, like in like the perfect position so that no bits are being shown.
Well, you should have
And
kept
then they're
on
talking to
watching
each
then,
other.
because they do the whole thing. Like, you see when they're doing it, when they're finishing, it's a whole thing. You see the girl's chest and all of that. Like, you'd think you're watching Game of Thrones or something. Well, not quite, because they don't show male frontal.
Shonda, come on now.
I mean, it's Netflix, so I think they're allowed to, but
They
who
can
knows?
do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of that Pretty Little Thing show.
I watched the entire... That's another
There's
thing
a lot
I
of
was
sex on
watching.
that show.
Yeah, that was another thing I was watching
Every
over the
5 minutes,
holidays.
people are having sex. You told me you watched it. You didn't tell me anything about the sex.
Because I want you to watch it and figure it out for yourself.
I would have never watched it. If
What?
you told me there was sex, then I would have turned it on.
I watched so
Quicker.
many things and I'm forgetting all of them. Like, wow. I watched that. I downloaded all of the episodes on my phone and I watched it on my trip to visit my family. I loved it. It was everything I needed. It had death, drama, sex, drugs, mystery. It was so good. So good. The headmaster for the school is sleeping with a student. The star ballerina man, whatever, was sleeping with multiple students. The star
The
ballerina...
straight guy sleeping with the gay guy.
That's happening.
The acting's not great.
Which
it's
ones?
Like, all of it.
Actually,
But it's like you know what you're getting into. It's that kind of like Riverdale stuff.
yeah,
It's
it
like
was.
we're not going for
It was
any
fine.
scene.
There were some moments whenever they tried to do like really sad scenes where I was like, it's a little bit hard to watch. Not because of the scene is sad, because it's so insincere and I just feel like it's bullshit. I'm like, y'all trying to look sad, looks constipated, and I just can't watch it. But I really like the show. I can't wait for season 2.
Well, you're gonna be waiting for a while. Season 1 just came out.
It was shot here in Toronto.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get into some hot topics. Did you see this thing about Viola Davis taking a bath with her husband twice a day? Every day?
Twice a day, every day. Well, what I will say is I'm happy they're showering twice a day, because that's what you should do. You should shower twice a day, once in the morning, once in the night. So that's good. What's her reasoning for this?
That's the time. It just keeps them together. It's their bonding time. Start the day and end the day together every day.
You know what I think of when I hear this? I think of Niecy Nash. I remember Niecy Nash wrote a whole book a couple of years ago about how to keep her husband. She's like a blowjob a day keeps a divorce attorney away. And look what happened to Niecy. She divorced her man and married a woman. So, I don't know.
Are you so you're making this sexual?
Yeah, a little bit. Because that's what came to my mind first. They're taking a whole shower.
A bath, I said.
A bath is just like lengthy and a lot. Do they not have... She's a busy woman. She has to read scripts. Who has time to take a whole bath twice a day?
It's only a bath. It's not like an hour-long bath.
So what? You go into the bath for 15 minutes a pop for the day? To just
15 minutes in the morning?
Just sit there with your husband.
And talk.
I guess in that moment, being naked in that tub with your husband in the morning and in the evening, it's like a sense of relief and connection spiritually and emotionally.
Every single morning they get in the jacuzzi, she says.
I don't think I would want to do that for myself, just because it's just not my thing. But if it works for her, I feel like if I just have breakfast with my partner, then it would be enough.
Maybe they don't have breakfast together. Maybe this is what they do together.
Well, how about we just take 15 minutes while we're getting dressed and talk? I don't know.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting in my own filth for 15 minutes.
Your own filth. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not into that. But what I want to bring up is a story about a Minnesota town who they approved the permit for a whites-only church. The mayor says the town is not racist. What do you think? Are they racist?
Yeah.
I mean, what else are we supposed to think, Mr. Mayor Man in this Minnesota town?
What do you need a whites-only church for?
And mind you that where George Floyd passed away, murdered, killed, this is close to Minnesota. And I'm like, my mom used to live in Minnesota with my sisters, and my sister told me a lot of things about that school that she went to, where the teachers were racist, the kids were just running around the hallways screaming the N-word and doing all these things. And the teacher, her history teacher, I wish he told me the name of her school because I would put them on blast right now. I forgot the name of the school. Her history teacher was teaching a history lesson, and she's saying that black people are too sensitive about the N-word.
Huh. Wow.
So my sister was like, because she's my sister.
That's her opinion.
I basically raised her. So she is about that life. You better believe it, because she is me. She said then if we're too sensitive about the word, say the word. And it became a whole thing. And she stood up in class and like, say the word. Let's stop talking about how sensitive we are. Just say the word. And the teacher had to change the topic because she wasn't about to go down that hole. I'm like, child, I'm so glad I did not grow up in an American school system because I would have been knocked out somebody already. But yeah, that church is racist and ain't nobody should go there. Next.
Did you hear about this bride who was raising money for her wedding saying she had cancer, and then it turns out she didn't have cancer?
So she's basically going around to say, I'm sick. Please give me money for my health. But taking the money to fund her dream wedding?
No. She said, give me money for my wedding.
Oh.
She said, I have cancer. I'm trying to have my dream wedding.
Before I die.
Yeah, I guess so. And then people gave her $11,000.
What? Did she have cancer?
No, she doesn't have cancer. She's sentenced to 5 months in jail.
That's not enough. I think she should stay at... You know what? Yeah, a year. I was gonna be like, no, the jails are crowded, but hell, they don't think about how crowded the jails are when they're arresting black women and black men and brown people. So lock this white woman up.
Yeah, she said in the GoFundMe that she had 2 months to live, and she posted a picture with her head shaved and everything.
That's evil.
I know,
that is
so sick.
Evil.
And she thought nobody would find out?
There's a picture of her here, and she is a young girl, like maybe 30s or something.
Yeah, she's 29. Her husband's 52. I guess he didn't know.
Oh, so your husband's 52. He should be like established. Couldn't he pay for your dream wedding? You gotta go do this elaborate lie?
Yeah, well, $11,000 is a good chunk of change.
If you need to go do all of this for $11,000, then bitch, you should just get married at the Justice of the Peace.
She has to pay back one guy who donated $2,700.
Of course. If I gave her $20, I'd want it back. That is just crookish.
It's sad. People are sick.
Very sick. But that's what it is. Speaking of sickos, while I was away visiting my family in Nashville, there was a whole bombing on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy. I'm here living in Canada, and we don't really have a lot of that type of madness here. And going there for the first time in like over a year in the States or whatever, and that's what happened on Christmas. I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah, that stuff it happens a lot in Europe.
That's what someone said. I think you said that. Like in Europe, they just do that all the time.
It just seems like there's like a lot of terror attacks in Europe all the time. Christmas Day stuff. It's just always happening over there.
You know, I must admit I'm not a big viewer of the news, only because I feel like it's just not my cup of tea. I will go and get information on what's happening in the world by going and reading it on articles and on news sites, but I don't really sit at home and watch the news stories because it's just something, it's on loop all the time, and I feel like these news stations, they all have their own point of view that they're trying to push, and I'll just rather read multiple publications and get my own thoughts on it. But yeah, it was crazy. A guy, he had a bomb in this truck. There was a whole siren on his truck, a loudspeaker, there were cameras set up on it. The truck had no plates. It was parked up in front of some building close to an AT&T tower. The truck was playing loud music, and then at one point when police got there, because people were like, this is weird, this truck is parked here in the middle of in the night just playing all this songs, Then you heard a countdown, and the countdown was like, in 13 minutes, this is gonna explode. Evacuate the area, and the police are trying to get I'm in trouble. The police was trying to get everyone out of the area and all that type of stuff, and then eventually the countdown started, and boom, knocked out the AT&T tower. No one in Nashville that had that cell phone plan or internet plan could get connected for days. It was crazy. It was a really wild Christmas day.
I would think it was like purposely to knock out AT&T stuff, eh?
It felt that way. It really did.
Plans.
I was so annoyed, sorry, because the day before, or maybe 2 days before, I don't remember, but days before that, our internet was out. So Comcast, because another line got like torn down or something in our neighborhood, so Comcast had to come and like fix that. And then days later, the phone services go down, and I'm like, this is some bull. What is really going on down here? Y'all don't want us to stay connected?
A whole bombing is going on.
It was crazy. And you know what? Before I go to leave the topic of the bombing, they had over 500 suspects.
What? I didn't hear about that.
Yes. After the bombing, they put together a list of over 500 people, and this was like just anyone who had been in the area for a few days or whatever. So they made their list, they narrowed it down, they found a man, and they've pinned it on him. He's a man in his 50s, white. Anyways, his wife called in long ago, maybe over a year ago, to the police and said, my husband is building a bomb in his car, and I don't think this is... I think something's wrong with him. No one came.
That's always happened. That's always the story.
No one came. They're like...
Didn't he die?
I don't know if he died.
I think he died in the bombing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's what I heard.
I need to research that.
That's why I was surprised when you said 500 suspects. Because I heard that there was a suspect and he died in the bombing.
Maybe he...
Like he was in the car.
No, there was no one in the car when the car exploded. So, if he did die in the car, they probably... I don't know. But, yeah, I was like, how is it this woman is telling you her husband's building bombs and the police are like, we ain't got no time for this lady. Go fix your husband some dinner. I
mean, that's what always happens. They're always like, oh, this guy... Somebody reported him to the police a year ago. Yeah. He's been under watch. It's like, well, obviously not watching...
Not close enough.
Exactly.
But days after that, we were driving down... I don't know where we were. We were like... Oh, yeah. We were like dropping my sister off at work or something. And there was a car on fire in the middle of the road. I was like, get me out of here. Get me out of here, stat. I'm done with this place. I mean, there was days ago a bombing, and now I'm driving past a car just literally in flames. We're driving, and I'm like, is it smoking? And the closer we got, it was like engulfed in flames.
Jeez.
I don't know what caused it. I'm not saying it was another bombing. All I know is I was over that place. Just over it. Do you have another story?
I was just going to say that he died in the explosion. It doesn't say whether he was in the car or not in the car, but...
Oh, okay, so it's probably in the vicinity.
But yeah, he died because of the explosion.
So I guess he was on the list of suspects, and when they went to find him, they realized he was actually one of the casualties.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I have a what is it called? Relationship advice
story. Oh, advice?
Yeah, from Reddit. It's kind of long, so I'll try to read through it quickly.
All right, I guess this is a thing now.
Okay, it says, my boyfriend, she's a 24-year-old female, boyfriend's 27, will not stop calling his cum Gregnog during Christmas time.
What?
First off, I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. I've been with my wonderful boyfriend Greg for over 4 years now, and this Christmas was our third spent together. He's so much fun to be around, handsome, charming, and our sex life is great, except for one small problem. Every year now, starting in December, he starts referring to his cum as Gregnog. When I first heard him say this, I thought it was in the context of a joke, so I laughed and then forgot about it. A few days after this, we're exchanging some spicy texts. Before he gets home from work, he says to me in all seriousness, I can't wait to pour Gregnog all over your face. I could not believe he just said that to me, but I didn't know what else to do, so I just went along with it. Fast forward to this December, the phrase re-enters his vocabulary at the exact same time this year. It makes me cringe beyond belief. but until this year, he used it sparingly enough for me to just be able to laugh and say, shut the fuck up. I'm sure that 2020 has done at least some irreparable psychic damage to all people, but unfortunately my boyfriend has manifested... Unfortunately for my boyfriend, this has manifested in the form to referring to his own cum as Greg nonstop. This month, he has been using the term almost exclusively in all contexts and is driving me batshit insane. I sat him down to talk last week and I asked him very clearly to directly stop. At the time, he said he would, and it did slow down for a few days, but it is now 4 days after Christmas and he's back again and there's no end in sight. He absolutely means the world to me, and I saw myself spending the rest of my life with him, but I have serious doubts now whether or not I can if every Christmas is going to be like this. So please, Reddit, what do I do to make it stop for good? I'm afraid he's going to do it again next year.
Okay. What's her name, Susan? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. First off, gross.
That's so disgusting.
I don't even like eggnog. So
I mean, first of all, it's disgusting, but I would make that joke. But just once.
Yeah, but an ongoing thing? That's a little weird.
You just say it once and you laugh and you move on.
So if you sat him down and had a whole conversation, told him point blank, period, like categorically clear, I do not like that. Please stop saying it. It makes me uncomfortable. And he keeps doing it and laughing.
Well, she said he tried to stop.
Well, you stopped for a few days.
And slowed down a bit.
It doesn't matter. He kept doing it after you told him you don't want him to do it anymore. Like, and I'm trying to figure out in what context on a regular day. You just, ooh, you want some orange juice? Or some Gregnog? Like, what do you say?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. I'd probably
knock him out. I'm joking, but in all seriousness, I would let him know, this is pissing me off to the point where I'm looking at you differently. I used to love you and look at you adoringly and like unconditionally. Now this dumb thing you keep doing, acting like a 13-year-old boy who just experienced his first orgasm, it's really turning me off from you and it makes me not like you.
Yeah, I wonder if she made it clear enough to him, because obviously if it's something that happens around Christmas, he stops after Christmas, so he can stop. It's not like he's so stuck in a habit of doing it.
I feel like he's one of those guys where, you know, like dad jokes?
Yeah.
They just keep going and going, even though they know the puns are crazy and it's annoying and no one wants to hear it. They think it's funny to themselves, so they just keep on going.
Him enjoyment.
But you must understand that when you are enjoying something a lot and everyone else around you is not, then you're causing harm.
Harm.
I'm just saying. Mentally, that would...
Mental harm for sure, I guess. Yeah, for her.
What would you do?
I would just be straight up and be like, that needs to stop. I'm sorry, but that needs to stop.
Like, I would be so blunt to the point where I'm not just going to be like, babe, that's really not cute. Can you stop? Knowing me, I'm going to be like, babe, that is annoying the shit out of me. If you continue doing that, I don't see how longer I'm going to be able to put up with this shit.
Well, then they'll think you're joking if you talk like that.
No, if they know me in real life, they know I'm not joking because I don't joke about shit like that.
I guess.
Because I'm real quick to like get out of my face. I'm done with this nonsense.
I guess. I think I would have laughed so hard the first time.
The first, because his name is like, Greg, so
that's funny.
It's a nice pun.
Yeah.
So the first time I'd be like, haha, you're funny.
The second time I've been like, the joke died the first time. That's it.
Right. Maybe the second time I'd be like, The third time I'd be like, Fourth, I'm like, are you still doing that?
Yeah, we need to stop.
Are you still doing that?
This is the third year.
Girl, how have you put up with this for 3 years? Every December. Like, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I could not imagine him smearing Christmas with that stupid joke every year.
Also, what's the worst part is that he uses it in a sexual context. He doesn't even use it just as a joke. They were actually sexting and he used it.
Yeah, you need to like let him know, like, seriously, if this does not stop, I feel myself falling out of love with you because it's grossing me out.
Maybe he's just that type of person. You know how there's some people who will like nickname their junk and then always refer to their junk with their partner as like Mr. whatever or like that thing? He's probably that type of guy.
That's a turn off in itself. I wouldn't even want to be around. Can you imagine dating someone and they name their private parts?
I think people do it.
I don't see why.
I've never met somebody, but I think people do it.
Y'all are weird. If you do that, you're crazy. You're a serial killer. But that's that on that. Now let's go into what is our topic this week?
New Year's resolutions.
Do I have any? We'll find out. So you guys been listening to the podcast. Thank you.
But if the Too Much podcast isn't enough, there's a whole lot more content on Michael's YouTube.
Yeah, I post like every single week and I have literally too much going on over there.
Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please drop a comment and tell us what you thought or what you'd like to see Michael do next.
Bye. Oh, no. Back to the show.
All right, Michael. What are your 2021 resolutions?
Well, first of all, I don't normally make New Year's resolutions.
And why not?
Just because I probably won't do them.
So you don't want to disappoint yourself, or you just don't want to become a better person?
I know you're not coming from me.
Well, answer the question first.
First of all, I am amazing. Now, why change perfection? But on all honesty, no, I don't want to disappoint myself because I'm very hard on myself. I make unrealistic goals for myself all the time, and I try to meet them or surpass them.
So then you should be used to it.
Yeah, but I don't want to do it at the beginning of the year. I just make the goals as I go along, and I just try to do them. I don't want it to be a thing where at the beginning of the year, I set a task, and I just do it throughout the year. But
you think you're constantly evolving and constantly improving on yourself?
Yeah, for sure.
Just to see, you don't think there's anything refreshing about like
I just don't feel
there being a date? Like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this, this, and this going into the next 12 months.
No, because I don't do that long term of a goal. I do a lot of short term goals. So for
it is a short term goal. You're trying to start it as soon as possible and continue it.
Anyways, I just don't feel like I need to say at the beginning of the year, 2020 turned out shit. 2020, I said to myself, for this on trips, how many did I take? 1.
I guess you jinxed yourself.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
I don't think I made any resolutions last year. Not that I
had a goal to save a certain amount, and I did meet it very early on in the year.
So you're saying you made a resolution?
What Obviously, the hell? It wasn't made on New Year's though.
When was it made?
It was made like Christmas the year before.
The year before?
So last year Christmas.
This season you made a resolution for the new year, New Year's resolution.
On the Christmas holiday, said I need to do this within the next 12 months.
So it was a New Year's resolution then?
No, it was not. It was me giving myself a task to complete by a certain time, not something that I gave myself on New Year's.
For the next year.
Child.
New Year's resolutions don't have to be set on New Year's Eve. They're just something you're going to work on the next year, the next calendar year.
I refuse to call it a New Year's resolution.
You refuse to do a lot of shit. So what are your New Year's resolutions for this year then?
For the sake of the podcast, I did come up with a few. Actually, I didn't. I'm just going to say them off the top of my head because...
Okay, so what are you working on in 2021?
2021, I'm going to do the cliche thing and say, I want to work on my body. I want to get into the fitness thing. I want to feel healthier because throughout this quarantine and the holiday season, I have been just eating carelessly and just not doing anything. And then when it got colder, I couldn't jog anymore, so I couldn't be outside. And I'm not about to run around the block in the freezing cold. I'm just not doing it. And I just want to do this for myself 2021. I want to feel that level of, I don't know, fitness again. I just want to be healthier.
That's good.
I get winded walking to the kitchen. I'm like, I need to do something about this.
I also said a body goal. I want to gain 50 pounds in 2021.
50 pounds?
Yeah, 50 pounds.
I don't think since I've known you, you've gained 10.
Exactly. I probably lost 10
since
you've known me.
It's not easy for you to gain a lot.
I think I looked at it and it's like pounds a month.
Yeah, 4 pounds a month is not hard in theory for a lot of people. I can gain 4 pounds a month easy, because I eat food. But your diet style, like the way you eat, I don't see you gaining that.
Well, that's
but
what
you're gonna work at it. So
yeah, I'm gonna try to work to gain 4 pounds a month. It's gonna be challenging.
so that means you're gonna have to do more than good food every week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be eating all the time because I have a really high metabolism, so I have to eat more than
The normal person.
yeah
Okay.
to try to get some of it to stick.
I wish you good luck on that journey, because it's not gonna be easy, and you're gonna have to force yourself to eat.
Force feed.
All right. Can't wait to see it. 50 pounds. Do you mind if we ask how much you weigh right now?
I weighed myself the other day. It was like 138.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's why I want to gain 50 pounds.
Skin tea bitches. Like Monique said, all these skinny heifers.
At least 50
I weighed myself over the
by
holiday.
2022.
I weighed myself on my birthday, and it was
A normal weight.
I mean, fine. It's not a bad weight for my height because
Exactly.
whatever. But it was more than I was a few months ago.
That's fine. I'm like
By a lot.
I'm like underweight for my height.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But let's see. What is my other New Year's resolution? For 2021, I want to start 2 more businesses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pedal to the metal.
You know it. 2020, I ended a career that I had. That ended. And I just was like annoyed with life at that point. Things weren't going the way I thought it would have. But then I found new hobbies and new things to like keep me interested in going, and it's been going so amazingly. So I've decided to just keep on that track of doing things that make me happy. And so I'm going to start at least 2 new things for 2021. So look out for that.
All right. I also want to work on my time management just overall.
Oh yeah, you suck.
I know.
You are like, let's wait until an hour before my deadline, then let me try to cram it in.
Yeah, I have a second job writing, and I always seem to do it like past midnight when I could easily do it at any other moment of the day. I work 9 to 5, so I could do it anytime after 5 p.m. usually. So I'm gonna try to bring that time in so I can actually like go to bed at a decent time. I also want to start reading for at least 15 minutes every day.
Oh, that's a nice goal. I would love to give myself that goal, but that's something I just don't care to do.
Then why would you love to give yourself that goal?
Just to force myself to do it, but then I'm like, that would just make me unhappy.
It's because you like have a very short attention span.
I do. I used to read a lot when I was younger, but when I realized that the things I wanted to read would be not like fictional, it would more be history books. That's when I realized I love to read. When I started doing history in high school and I just could not put my textbook down, I was like, oh, I love reading because I'm learning a lot of actual knowledge about stuff. But to take up a novel, or even to take up someone's autobiography, if it's not someone I care about or I'm interested in knowing stuff, I'm not reading it.
Yeah, you don't have to pick up one where you're not interested in the person.
But
Pick up ones you're interested in. I don't read novels.
There are not a lot of people out there that I care about their life story. The last sort of autobiography I read was The Audacity of Hope. You know how long that was?
I was going to say, how long ago was that?
Like before 2010, like 2008.
So you haven't read a book
2009?
in a decade?
No, I've read books, just not fictional books, or books about people's life stories.
Nonfiction.
So, yeah. What else do I want to do for 2021? 2021, I want to spend more time with my family. So I'm hoping that this virus will allow me to do that.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
That is going to be a tough one.
Good luck with that. Especially the way the cases are going. Do you see Toronto's cases were like out of this world today?
Where the hell are they getting these numbers from? I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but sometimes I just don't pay no mind because they be talking out the side of their asses.
There was like almost 1,000 new cases just in Toronto. And then Ontario's death toll today, or I mean yesterday, because they report the numbers from the day before. It was the highest since like May, sometime in May. Like almost 60 people died yesterday.
Some people have this theory, not my theory. Some people I've had conversations with have this theory that no matter who dies and what the cause of death is, the government is labeling it as a coronavirus death to add numbers. Not my theory. Don't look at me like that.
I can understand maybe they're inflating the number a little bit.
Yeah.
But
basically,
they're not saying all deaths are
I'm
COVID.
just saying the people have a theory that these numbers are inflated. Also, who is testing this much? Because
they test thousands of people a day.
All the people I know have not been tested once throughout this pandemic. And have not been sick once either.
Yeah, but other people get tests.
But anyways, I travel...
Like, my coworker at my old job, she was sick. She went to go get a test at that place around the corner up by the McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. I saw them in line doing that. I'm like, y'all are going there to go get COVID. That's what.
Yeah, so what are you talking about? Who's getting tested? You saw them lined up outside that.
The line wasn't that long, though.
Every day. That's one place.
Anywho, I just traveled and I came back. And they gave me this piece of paper to say I have to call in every day for the next 2 weeks. And I have to quarantine and let them know my status every single day. You know what the thing does? You call this number. You don't talk to a person. It's automated. And they ask you to verify your... I'm just going to spill tea here. Verify your date of birth, the date you came back into the country, the phone number, and then they ask you, do you have a fever? Do you have like shortness of breath? There's a third question. I can't remember exactly. Like, do you have a cough or do you have something? Do you have something else? Something like that. And if you say no to everything, they're like, all right, call us back tomorrow and we'll do the same thing again.
But what's the point? If you said yes, what are they going to tell you? Oh, you should go get a test? You'd already know that.
Right. So that's why I'm like, this process is stupid. It's not very effective.
And I thought they were supposed to be making sure that you were quarantining. This doesn't sound like it's making sure you're quarantining at all.
No, they're just
people could just lie anyways.
They're just expecting you to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, so many people come in and like me, I feel great. I'm fine. Who knows, I might have it, but I'm asymptomatic, which would be weird to me because I have multiple underlying health issues. Let me say that again. So if I feel like if I were to contract this autoimmune disease, it would knock my ass out. Granted, I am very careful. I'm a germaphobe from day one, so I'm not out here groping on strangers. I've been an advocate for 6 feet apart before Corona. Like, I would get in arguments with people waiting in line to go on the bus, like, back up, you're too close to my ass. Like, give me some breathing room. So I'm not out here trying to get anything. So I'm very careful. But I just feel like the numbers are a little odd, and I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist type of guy, but Jesus Christ, it feels like when you go there, they're giving it to you instead of like curing you from it. Elon Musk said he went and he got his test 4 times done in one day, and 2 tests came back negative and 2 of them came back positive. So something is wrong with this system. That's all I'm saying. So these numbers are a little questionable. Any other resolutions for the year?
Okay, conspiracy theorists. No. I just want to be, a better person in general, but that takes time.
You know what another resolution of mine is? To
What?
apologize less.
You don't apologize at all now.
Excuse me?
So what are you apologizing less for? You think you apologize a lot?
I think I've apologized to some people in 2020 that didn't even deserve it. Looking back, I'm like, I was just trying to get you to shut up. I did not need to apologize for that shit. In 2021, fuck all you hoes because you're going to be getting it raw.
Interesting. That is very interesting. I'll remember this. Good thing it's on record.
And that's all she wrote. For 2021, my main goal is to just be happy and in bliss.
Wow, setting lofty goals. Let me know if you reach happiness.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I can get there. Because I've learned from a really early age how to produce my own happiness and how to maintain it. So even if I do fall off track, I can always get back to that place. Because I feel like happiness is first within. And I do genuinely love myself. So I think I'll be okay with that goal.
I wish you the best.
I wish you the best on all of your journeys too.
Oh, thank you.
2021, guys. Bringing people closer together.
Oh, and Drag Race starts. Oh, by the time this podcast comes out, Drag Race will have started.
Yeah, by the time this podcast is aired, it would have been the day after Drag Race. We were thinking of doing a podcast on reviewing the Drag Race episodes. Do you think we should
separate episode or just within our episodes?
Like a separate one. Like a short 20-minute thing.
Sure.
He says sure, like, I don't want to do it.
Sure. Well, because you're already reviewing it on YouTube, so what are you going to say different on the podcast?
Oh, because I always tell people this. Whenever people are like, you have a podcast and a YouTube? I'm like, yeah. Go to YouTube if you want, like, fluffy bunny rabbit me, and come to my podcast if you want to just hear me talk whatever shit's on my mind. I don't give a fuck.
There's the soundbite. Oh, and I was thinking of doing The Bachelor. The Bachelor starts on Monday, January 4th, I think. It's the first Black Bachelor ever.
And for some reason, I thought this was a thing already, but I guess this is monumental. So I guess from now on, and probably we'd have to add a segment to review The Bachelor. So you could review it every week.
His name's Matt. See, the thing is, I've never watched The Bachelor ever.
Neither have I.
But in the past couple years, I've gotten more into dating shows with like Love is Blind and 12 Dates of Christmas and stuff like that. There was another one too, wasn't there?
The Circle? Was that dating?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It wasn't really dating, but sure, it was relationships. Anyway, so I was thinking maybe I would, since it's the first Black Bachelor and I want to support, that maybe I would watch the show for the first time and then react to it as someone who's never watched The Bachelor.
Love
so
that.
Maybe we'll talk about each episode on the podcast. If I stop watching it halfway through the season, then we'll stop talking about it.
Then that's just what happens. I'll hold you to your word because I'm going to need you to tell me what's going on because I'm not watching it.
Oh, God. So now it's charity.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on my YouTube channel. Do the same here. Whatever you're watching this, listening to this on, or watching it, we do upload this to YouTube. You can leave a comment. It makes people find us easier. And share this with your friends if you think they would like what we have to say. Until next time.
Bye.